Today we're looking at number 12 as we progress through our studies, looking at how we grow in a relationship with God. This one's entitled Share Him. And there's something that we do need to consider. It's not just all about us. Once we've understood what God is like and have accepted his salvation, we want to share him, don't we? We want to tell other people what he's really like, in contrast to the lies of the devil, and to speak well of God and his character. So how exactly do we do that? It's interesting, isn't it? We have developed lots of different methodologies to do this, whether it's by satellite or other technological means on the internet and so on, but nothing beats one-to-one conversations, in my humble opinion. That is where I think the gospel is truly spread. And if you look back through the New Testament especially, that is what happened most of the time. Yes, they didn't have technology as we do today. Yes, we can use it. We can use social media and so on. But talking to people where they are, recognizing their problems, trying to help them through the challenges of life, trying to explain to them that God is real and that he can be their friend and savior. That is what it's all about. So let's look at some of the advice we're given there in the quotes. Billy Graham says, reflect Christ through kind words, patience, a gentle temperament, love, and respect. There's a lot to think about there. I especially like the whole idea of love and respect. If we don't love the people we're dealing with, if we don't respect them and their views, I don't think we're truly representing God. And Louis Palau, if you can walk with God and proclaim the good news, that's the greatest legacy. What do you want to be remembered for? I think it's something like that, isn't it? And Lee Strobel, I've seen far too many Christians who are more than willing to travel halfway around the world to volunteer for a week in an orphanage, but who cannot bring themselves to take the personal risk of sharing Jesus with the co-worker who sits day after day in the cubicle right next to them. And there's something that challenges all of us, doesn't it? How do we help our neighbor? And do you remember that famous question Jesus was asked, who is my neighbor? And what was the answer? Well, look at the parable of the Good Samaritan. And there's one that demonstrates the true nature of a good neighbor, while most people would have despised that. So what about the biblical material? We, of course, have the Gospel Commission. We need to remember that's what Jesus told us to do, so we can't ignore that. 1 Peter is a wide range of Christian instruction, but it ends by saying, always be ready to explain to anyone who asks you the reason for the hope that you have. Are you always ready to explain that to people? And it can take many forms. You can be standing in the line waiting to pay for your groceries, or wherever it might be, on the bus, on the plane, wherever you happen to be with someone. Can you turn the conversation around to things which might lead to a spiritual conversation? We don't have to always go in, I almost want to say, all guns blazing. Well, not that we would ever do that, would we? But we can do this quietly, with respect and with love, trying to help people. And we have to have that feeling inside that I want to help this person to get to know the person that I love and that I admire, the one who has shown me such grace and consideration in my life to help me on the way. And in Isaiah 50 verse 4, the prophet explains how God has given him the ability to teach and encourage others. And I would pray that prayer too. Lord, give me that ability to teach and to help other people around me. Teach me the words to say. Give me ideas of what is the best way to approach this person who I don't know anything about. So I don't know how to begin that conversation. I can say good morning, how are you? But after that, what comes next? What's troubling you in your life? We might even get to that with somebody we know a little bit, but we have to be careful that we don't end up treading on people's toes either. So delicately and carefully, let's represent Jesus, not only in what we say, but particularly in what we do.